Good morning, dear students. Today we will begin with our History and Political Science subject prescribed for your 10th standard SSC board syllabus. Before we begin with the chapter, let us take a brief look of the subject. History is also described as his story or the stories about the past. But you guys are a bit grown up for these stories. Because your generation is very smart, stories don't really fascinate you now the way they used to fascinate you when you were small. And probably you are more interested and inquisitive about knowing the facts. Also, few of you are all trying to make or choose your career, so this textbook is designed in such a way so that it focuses on the application of history. That is, if you want to choose history as your career, what are the different opportunities that are available, or how this subject will help you to choose what all options are available for you to choose, how it can be helpful. So, this textbook provides this information about all the aspects of the day-to-day life. All occupations and crafts have a particular history of their development. This textbook also highlights the facts that knowledge of such history is useful in enhancement of an individual's occupational skills. In the political science section, it this book gives us an idea about the Constitution of India, the information regarding elections, the process of conducting those elections, main political parties at the national and regional levels, their agenda, political and social movements that lead to healthy democracy, and challenges faced by the Indian democracy is included in this book. Students of 10th standard will soon be getting a right to vote. So this information in the political science section will prepare you all for fulfilling this new role which you'll be playing. So with this background about history and political science, let us begin now. Let us now begin with our first chapter, Historiography, Development in the West. Done a PPT for you all and you can see it on the screen. So it is Historiography, Development in the West. Fine. Okay. The writing of the writing of critical historical narrative is known as historiography. So what is historiography? It is a writing of a critical narrative. Critical is systematic, you can say, or authenticate writing, which is wherein everything is verified and that is dated about the history is called as a narrative of narrative, and if it is related to history, it is called as historiography. And a scholar who writes such a narrative is a historian, is called as a historian. Historical research, writing and studies are carried out with an objective of understanding the chronology of the past events and their interconnection. This is a continuous process. Now, historiography, historical research, writings, whatever research someone is doing or whatever writings someone has written in the past or someone is writing, and studies are carried out with an objective of understanding the chronology of the past events. Chronology is the sequence of the past events. Whenever it is done with the whenever history, any recording or any research work or any writing of history, that has to be in a systematic, in a sequence or a chronological order of the past events and their interconnections. Now, not only past events are to be arranged one after the other, but it has to be interconnected also. The relevant topics or the relevant informations are kept one after the other. If there is something which is related to the same era but then has no connection with this particular topic, then that can be done in a separate study, or it can be mentioned at the end, but that has to be a chronological order. Now, this is a continuous process. Now, history is a continuous process, because what today is the present, but till yesterday everything is the past, and we are history is all about the past, we have seen earlier. So it is about the past, so till it is a continuous process, and today which is present, tomorrow it is going to be a past. So history is a continuous process. There is a continuous analysis, there is a continuous research going on, or there is a continuous writing. And when this is taken into consideration, the this is a continuous process, because it goes on happening. It's not that today when the day finishes it's going to end everything. No. So tomorrow when the next day begins again, today will be the history. So it is a continuous process. In historical research, empirical methods are not possible. Empirical methods means the laboratory methods, the way we can test scientific things like chemistry or physics. We can go to the lab, we can check it, and then uh, we can prove that time and again. So that are the laboratory methods. That method is not possible in history. It is not possible to verify the truth. Whatever any historian is stating, or whatever any historian is writing, that cannot be tested in a lab, just like the way the scientific labs are there, and even maths can be repeated again and again, and it can be proved. But in history we cannot do that. In history it is not possible to formulate laws that remain true irrespective of the time and space. In history, things may be true at that particular time in that particular situation, but the same things may not be true in the other time zone or in other place. They may not be true, because it depends on so many factors, like the social area or the social prevalence of that area, then the time, which is a very important factor. So it may not be true, or it is mostly it is not true in all over. Like, there cannot be a generalized rule, just like we have in maths or in geometry or in science, that there are set rules. In, for example, in Pythagoras theorem, you test the Pythagoras theorem in India, in anywhere, any part of the world, it has to be true. But in history it necessarily cannot be, it is not possible to formulate particular laws. Like, few things will be true for few people, but in the other part of the country that may not be true, because it is dependent on many other factors as well. Then serious methods of various disciplines are useful in historical research. Methods of various disciplines, like which fields are not related to history, like history is useful in historical research, is useful in maths, in science, in philosophy, in any of the subject for that matter. How it is related, how it is useful, that we can see as we move on further. Okay. Critic Writings of historical narrative. Now, how these historical narratives are writing: critical examination of various sources of history. Whatever various sources, now you all have learned about the various sources of history, like the oral sources, the written sources. So if any source of history is found, then it has to be checked thoroughly first, whether it is true, whether it is really authentic. Then there are ways the historians or the person who is well versed in history, or who has taken proper education in history, they can definitely find out whether those things are true, and they need to be verified thoroughly whether if it is correct or if it is uh, very much related to whatever they have to find the correlation of the things as well. So critical examination, they have to be verified very nicely, very properly, very systematically before they are included as a part of history. Examine relevant references of the available historical information. They have to also, if something is found, like if in the excavation they find a inscription, say for example, so that inscription they have to find out, the historians find out whether it prevails to which time zone, which time, which era, that time, which area it relates to, whether it relates to India, whether it relates to any other part of the country, or where it relates to. That can be very well found out with the help of the language that is used, or there can be many other ways to find out that. So it has to be seen that which area it belongs to. Then all the other relevant information of that particular area and that particular time has to be found out, and then has to be relevant references, like they have to give references how come this is true and why. If anything belongs to, say, to the European countries, then okay, it is related to India, then how it is related to India, or why is it related to India, that all correlations they have to justify, they have to state, or they have to find out whatever available information is there. Collecting historical information, highlighting the process that leads to historical transition, carrying out comparative analysis. Now collecting the historical information. Now if during the excavation a inscription is found, the in the excavation they have to continue and find out if there is some more relative information which is available. If it is not there, then also they have to find out from the archives or from the library or from the related sources of history, wherein they can find the uh, some more information regarding the same thing. Then highlighting the process that led to historical transition. They can also highlight the process. Transition is the transformation, how history has transformed, that they have to find out, and that also they have to state the transformation. Carrying out comparative analysis. Also they have to carry out comparative analysis. Comparative analysis is they have to analyze the things, making different comparisons. Next is the understanding the references regarding time and space of the given historical events, and also various conceptual frameworks used in the historical research method. Now understanding the references regarding time and space of the given historical events. So whatever inscription they have to find, they have got, that they have to find it relates to which time zone or which time and which place or which area of the world. Then also various conceptual frameworks. Now on what concepts their research is based, or what concept their analysis is based, that they have to also state. To formulate relevant questions in view of the historical references. To formulate various questions, relevant questions. Now when they have found out something, there are so many questions which pop up. For example, if we find something new, if we come across something new thing, maybe a thing, maybe a object, or maybe just anything, when we first see that, there are so many questions that pop up in our minds, like how this has come into existence. Okay, we can take a very relevant and a very common example, or very much we are into it, like, so if when we first came to know about this coronavirus, so didn't this come to your mind that how this has come to into existence, how it is transferred, what are the ways to cure it. So there are so many questions that come to our mind when we come across something very new, very different in our lives. Like when we first heard about it, there were so many questions. So we can reveal information about that particular thing which is authentic or which is can be believed or trusted, that only when we have all the answers to the questions which are cropping up in our mind. Like when we have all this information, then only we can tell others about what the information we have. For example, we have taken the coronavirus information. So if you are well informed about it, if you have all the answers to the questions which crop up in your mind, then and then only you can you can talk about this with the other people, you can give information about this to the other people, right? So for that you have to have your concept very very clear for that first. Okay, to formulate relevant questions in view of the historical resources references. Now whatever you feel, okay, and formulate hypothesis. Hypothesis is when we compare two different things and formulate a theory upon the comparison of these two things, that time it is called as the hypothesis. Like he is very tall so he can play basketball. So the height and the game basketball are compared. So whenever we find some new theories or when we find some new thing, we try to relate it to something else. So when this comparison is done, when this two different things are compared, it is called as hypothesis. Tradition of historiography. The tradition of writing historical narrative, that is historiography, was not prevalent in the ancient society of the world, because we have seen in our English last year's 9th standard chapter how the first letter was written, if you all remember. So that time how it was like, when people of two different sects, different cultures or different villages far away from each other, they met each other, they didn't even understand each other's language. Remember how Taffy could not communicate to the stranger man? Similarly, when we are talking about the ancient times, that time there was no language, there was no written writing thing was there, no alphabets were there, no words were there. So that time how people used to communicate? There was no way to communicate. So how is it possible that, but then that time also still the people used to exist. So whatever experiences they had, don't you feel that they must have also felt that they should transfer their experiences or transfer their knowledge to the next generation or to other people? They also felt the necessity. But since then writing was not a practice at all, so that time how they used to transfer? However, that does not mean that they were not aware of the historical time or were not eager to know about it. They also had the inquisitiveness to know about the new thing. They also wanted to share whatever they had, and they also had the inclination, they also had the liking to share or incorporate whatever they had, whatever they didn't had with them. Ancient people also felt the need of passing on the stories of the life and valor of their ancestors to the next generation. The ancient people, they also felt that whatever great their ancestors were, whatever nice deeds their ancestors had done, they should pass it on to the next generation. Ancient communities all over the world used various means like cave painting, storytelling, singing, songs, ballads, etc. for this purpose. So when writing was not a practice, they used to do wall paintings, they used to do cave paintings, they used to tell stories, they used to sing songs which was transferred from generation to generation. They used to have ballads. Like there were few other techniques which are now extinct, uh, like we can say puppet shows were there. From that also they used to tell stories. There were Ram Leelas, which are very less in number now in developed cities, but earlier in the villages there used to be lots of Ramlila. That is how the life story of Ram, the relation between Ram and Ravan, the small stories from Ramayana were enacted on the stage, and that is how they were transferred from generation to generation. This is a part of oral oral sources, you can say, of history, which we have learned last year. Telling a story is again an oral source. Cave painting is a written source. Inscription, coins, these are all the cave paintings are the written sources, or the art, you can say, which from which they have tried to communicate it to the next generation, transfer it to the next generation. These traditional means are looked upon as the sources of history in modern historiography. In modern historiography, because this is what we are talking about, is about the ancient, about the past, very very old. So this forms of sources are known as sources of history in the modern historiography. Modern historiography. Its method is based this is modern historiography. What we are seeing now. Earlier what we have seen was an ancient thing, very 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 old, wherein writing was not a concept. That time it was an ancient historiography. That time it was transferred with stories, cave paintings, etc. Now modern historiography, its method is based on scientific principle. It begins with the formation of relevant question. Earlier we have seen that whenever something new is found and there is a concept, that concept is totally understandable, or it is understood, or it is in a position to be narrated to others only when all the questions to it are answered and when we are thorough with the knowledge. Here in modern historiography you can see the method is based on scientific principles. So when we come to know about something new, first the scientific approach towards it, what are the scientific principles on which it is based, that is found out, and it begins, the start itself is with the formulation of relevant questions. Different questions are formulated and those are answered, and that is how more and more information about a particular topic is gathered. These questions are anthropocentric. It means that these questions are about the deeds of the members of the ancient human society of a particular period. History does not suggest any interrelation between the divine and human deeds. Okay, these questions are anthropocentric. It means that the deeds of the members, whatever a person, a great person, a king, or a very renowned person, or about any monument, you can say. So all the deeds are told, what happened there are told, then what that person did in his life, entire life, that is told. But have you ever come across in history wherein it is stated that this should have been done, this is what is ideal, that is done, but then this was not done, or this is ideal and this was followed? No, we never come across such things in history, because whatever are the facts, only those facts are put forth. It is not compared to what ought to be, what should be, what is genuine, what is genuine correctness is there, but then how a particular person should behave, or how a particular person should react, that is not stated. How he reacted is given, yes. How he behaved with his pupils, that is given, yes. But it never states whether this should have happened, or this is the correct way of doing it, but it was not followed, or it was followed, or rather this way which was followed was the most correct way. It is never stated. So whatever the facts are there, those are revealed in history, but what ought to be, what should be, what is correct, what is the most proper way, all these things are never stated in history. History does not suggest any interrelation between the divine and the human deeds. Like it is never stated that this is all the good things which should be done and this was done by the human beings. It is never, there is no interrelation between what ought to be and what is done. They only state what was done, what happened in the past. Answers to these questions are supported by reliable evidences. In the first point, we have seen that it begins with the formulation of relevant questions. So, for example, whenever we came to know about the coronavirus, the scientific approach was there. How it came into being, what are the effects of it, how it can be controlled, what are the preventive measures for that. So all that were the questions which came to our mind, and that is where the history of it started. Now, answer to those questions are supposed to be reliable evidence. So what are the reliable evidences as far as coronavirus is concerned or the pandemic is concerned? Because this is a medical state, so it is related to medicine. So the world health related to the health, so the world health organization, whatever the directions were given by the superior authority of the health organization, that is the World Health Organization, that was considered to be the most authentic one, that is supposed to be the most trusted one. So the authorities mm, or the things which are revealed should come from the reliable sources. What your neighbor says, what your friend says is really not very important, but what the government says or what the World Health Organization states, that is considered to be the correct way or the correct reliable evidence or the correct reliable source. Now here it is about the reliable evidence. So evidence means, you have seen so many times, you have heard this word evidence in the movies. Evidences are proofs. So you have to justify your statement, you have to justify whatever you say with the help of reliable, trustworthy proofs, evidences. History presents a graph of mankind's journey with the help of past human deeds. Whatever the things were done in the past, it is related with afterwards what happened after few years. After few years again what happened, what was the development, how did the development take place, or what was the development that took place. All this is the journey of mankind is stated in history. It presents the journey of mankind, like in ancient times how people used to live, how they used to earn their livelihood, or what was their way of life. After few years, like in the ancient time they used to live in the caves. In the medieval time gradually they improved and they started living on trees, they started building houses from the natural sources like trees or grass or mud. And then afterwards how they developed and made different types of houses, all that you all know. So this mankind transition of mankind is stated in history. Develop